All right, so we had the first GOP debate tonight. It's easy for me to say, and you know, I actually, well, I emailed all my family members about the debate, and it's like, hey, just giving you a heads up just so people kind of know because it is pretty early. And I was disappointed in this debate because unfortunately it looks like we're back in the same thing again, to where the mainstream media is going to um, set Ron Paul and those like him, like Gary Johnson, up for failure. They're not going to give them a fair shake. They're going to ask them stupid, lame questions. They're not going to get enough time to answer the questions. Several times in the debate, he was skipped over for some reason. And what was obvious was they never skipped over Pawlenty or Santorum, ever. I don't even think they skipped over Herman Cain. So it was literally like they were focusing on Herman Cain, Tim Pawlenty, and Santorum, which Santorum makes the devil seem warm and sweet. In fact, I was over at my mother's and she was watching it. I forced her to watch it. I had to tie her down. I mean, she's a Democrat, so she's one of these Democrats who's scared to death about Social Security and all that crap. Um, but she has a point in that she says that she pays for it. I paid into it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But you make a deal with the devil, whatever. But anyways, so like because I had already kind of been getting a feel for what I was seeing. But the way the debate was unfolding, Ron Paul was getting so few questions. I mean, it had to be 2-1 on the questions for the guys in the middle. Santorum maybe got the most, maybe Plenty. It was one of those two that clearly got the most. I mean, Fox was jizzing all over Plenty and Santorum, which is about the worst image I've ever had. Because I'm sure Santorum would go and pray immediately. But they were all over him, and I knew what was happening. And it's like, fuck, because you can have the best candidate in the world, but if they don't get any questions asked of them, and they can't answer any questions, you don't have a chance. And that was exactly what happened. There was a question about the economy and gas prices, and that's something I've been talking about forever on here. And sure enough, they skipped Ron Paul on that. And if I were Ron Paul, I think I would have said something. I would have made them ask me that question. There's no excuse for it. They went around everyone, and then they stopped at Ron Paul. They did the same thing on an immigration question. I don't remember them ever doing that to any other candidates, where they ask all like three candidates the same question basically, and then they stop and skip someone else. I don't remember them ever doing that. Maybe they did that to Gary Johnson. But here's the thing. I mean, this is all happening on a day when Ron Paul, CNN releases that new poll showing that Ron Paul, polls up against Obama as good as anybody else, if not better. So there's no excuse now that he's not a serious candidate. That's bullshit anymore. How are you going to claim that? So that's what was frustrating me. And as the debate was unfolding, the sense that I was getting, and this is just being an honest person here, I know how Americans are, and this is something we talked about before. I knew who was winning, and it was Herman Cain, because he was likable. Tim Pawlenty was full of shit. Uh, Rick Santorum was the most arrogant fuck I've ever seen. He kept thumbing himself, pointing his thumbs at this guy. Like, oh my god, what an arrogant fuck. He's like Sean Hannity in a dress. Oh, I'm sorry, no, not in a dress, but Sean Hannity Part 2. It was horrible. And so it was basically a three-way race between Santorum, Pawlenty, and Herman Cain, because they were getting all the questions. So given that situation, I knew Herman Cain was going to win because he was likable. And he kept making me hungry because I kept thinking of their fucking pizza. I was like, oh man, is Godfather's in business anymore? I don't even know, but so it was pretty fucked up. I wasn't happy with it. I did like on my site alternativenewsmedia.com. If you go there to the blog, you'll see what I was thinking as I was watching that fucking thing. But it's not that big of a deal. It's only one debate, but it was just, there was a funny scene in there when Ron Paul's asked about heroin, and you'll have to look for it online. I'll try to put a linkage below, but it was pretty funny. And he did as good as he could, given the small amount of questions I thought he was given. So that's pretty much it. We may have lost this battle, but we're gonna win the war. Oh, and he got $1 million too. See ya.